We are now in the book of Shemot, commonly called Exodus. We have left from Canaan. And our forefathers are now in the country of Mitzrayim. Our forefather Yaakov has just passed. We are now in residence in what city?
Goshen.
We are now in Goshen. So the book of Shemot, the word Shemot means what?
Names.
Names. Names. And it's the plural version of the word Shem, which is also the name of our forefathers, and it means names. And your name is also synonymous with what? Okay, your character. So you're about to read a book of characters. And as you read this book, I ask you to look at your name or your character and see which one lines closely up with yourself. So is everybody there? Exodus chapter 1?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, no, not yet. You gotta follow. Just click a couple times. Say hello, y'all, whenever you have arrived.
Hallelujah.
Okay, hallelujah. 1 through 6.
In the beginning, Elohim created the heavens and the earth. And the earth was without form and void. And darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the rock Elohim...
Exodus.
Oh,
Bereshit.
forgive me.
Hold on.
Okay, here we go. Now,
But, sweet guy, Keith. But the way that the Most High moves, that's going to be important in about 10 verses. I'm going to ask y'all about what we just read. But we are in the book of Exodus, but I'm going to bring that up. Go ahead, Keith.
all right.
Shemot chapter 1.
Hallelujah. Now these are the names of the children of Yashuel, which came into Mitzrayim. Every man in his household came with Yaakov, Reuben, Shimon, Levi, and Yehuda, Yishakar, Zebulun, and Benjamin, Dan and Naphtali, Gad, and Asher. And all the souls that came out of the loins of Yaakov were 70 souls, for Joseph was in Mitzrayim already. And Joseph died, and all his brethren, and all that generation.
Okay. So a couple of things we should see here. One, what does Mitzrayim mean?
Bondage. Two straights.
Say it again.
Two straights.
Okay. You can read? Yes, the Mitzrayim means two straights. It is synonymous with the house of bondage, but it does not mean bondage.
So what does two straights mean?
I'm about to explain that. See, I told you he was gonna talk. So two straights, you're dealing with two. It's really, when you break down the word, it means siege. So for those who are in the military, what is a siege?
Oh, God, man.
You take over.
No overtaking something.
You take over.
No overtaking.
Go in and take over.
That's an attack. A siege. Okay,
Right.
So a siege. Oh, you know. Go.
No, you go ahead.
A siege is. So say you have a city, right?
Okay, so like a border.
Yeah. Say, okay, you knew it. Just I asked a question. Yes, a siege is a border. It is where they surround the city, where you can get no.
Way in the
Yes, sir. Tell it again.
no way in the night.
No way in and out. They're not letting nobody in. They're not letting nobody out. They're cutting off all your supplies.
Oh, okay.
Like a quarantine.
Yes, sir. It's two of those. So you're dealing with. You look at your mind. You're dealing with two mindsets.
Mm.
The land of two straights. So we left the land of humility, and now we are in the land of two mindsets.
Yeah.
You look at verse 1, verse 2, verse 1. It says, every man in his household came with Yaakov. We are from, this is, once he finished verse 6, we are now leaving the lane of individuality. Verse 1 says, every man in his household. So now you have every man. So there's all his household, that we his household, E, that we, so on and so forth. Everybody's households, right? But we're all walking together. After verse 6, that ends. And it's no longer about your household, it's about the nation.
Yeah.
What do you see in regards to the names? Verse 2 and 3, verse 2 through 4, 2, 3, and 4. What do you see?
The order is
Okay, the order is different. The first 4 are the same as the birth order. Reuben, Shimeon, Levi, Yehuda. Supposed to be Gad and Asher. Gad and Asher are at the end. Once again, remember we said that names are characters. They have meanings. So the author of this, which Moshe, he is the original author, but once you continue going forward, once we left out of Babylon, the Torah was edited or redacted once we left Babylon. Because we had started to forget, so they started to rewrite it. Once you read it, it gives you a story. Now, I would ask you what all their names mean, but I'm not going to mess with y'all like that. I'll just do the first 4. What does Reuben mean?
Say it.
You said.
Behold, a son.
Okay.
What does Shimeon mean? I'm just doing the first 4. I ain't gonna mess
A
with y'all.
second.
do all of them.
Huh?
Was it a second one?
Shimeon. Shema.
Somebody listen to.
To hear.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Shimeon means Yah. Well, his name, they said his name is Yah is heard, but Shimeon means to hear. Shimon, Shema, hear. Lewi, what does Lewi mean?
To join.
The priest.
Yeah, they are the priests. What does his name mean?
A bridge.
Yes, bridge or to join. And Yehuda. Everybody should know what Yehuda means.
Praise.
Okay, absolutely.
Who to pray?
Known for the praises. Okay, so I'm not gonna keep going. I'm just gonna tell you the story based on. So once you break down the meanings of everybody's name, there's a story. The story goes like this: Behold, a son who hears and praises shall be rewarded through exaltation with the son of my right hand. After the judgment of those who wrestle with my army, there shall be a state of progressive happiness. Behold, a son who hears and praises shall be. Sleep out. Remove the word hear. Shema. Shema means to hear and obey. So not only listen to the word, but obey it. So behold, a son who hears and obeys, as well as praises, shall be rewarded through exaltation with the son of my right hand. After the judgment of those who wrestle with my army, there shall be a state of progressive happiness. These are the names. This is the story that the names of the children of Israel represent. You can check it out and see if the Most High tells you anything else differently, but based on the names, that's just what I got for you. And all the souls that came out of the ones of Yaakov was 70, for Joseph was in Mizraim already, and Joseph died and all that generation with his brother. So now there is a changing of the guard.
Yeah.
All right, Akeem, you can read from 7 to 9. 7 to 9.
And the children of Yasharel were fruitful and increased abundantly, and multiplied and waxed exceedingly mighty, and the land was filled with them. And there rose up a new king over Mitzrayim, which knew not Joseph. And he said unto his people, Behold, the people of the children of Yasharel are more and mightier than we.
Okay. For verse 7. So verse 7, well, I'll deal with the easy part first. What does it mean that a Pharaoh arose that did not know Joseph?
He was familiar with him. Time has passed.
But he used to write stuff down, record stuff. He didn't look at it.
It's similar.
Okay, so I know we're in a small room, but y'all still speaking low. And Elder Grom said he can't hear us when he watches YouTube, so that means that we gotta speak up just a little bit. Bavakasha, please. So go ahead.
What it means for Pharaoh not to know.
it shows the kind of the length of time, in a sense, because certain knowledge is passed on from generation to generation, but eventually the children will forget the past and they'll be only focused on the present. So the feats of the past will no longer be relevant in a sense. It will be more of a, well, this happened. Well, it's all speculation because he wasn't there. So he's not focused on the past. He's only focusing on what's happening now.
And you can also look at it, you know, everybody knows the story of Joseph and what he did. He actually was doing things of the Most High the way he can. So this new Pharaoh don't have no clue. He gonna have a very hardened heart towards anything that's not of his way.
You gotta say that one more time, Lucky. I'm trying to understand what you're saying.
So you said you have a Pharaoh that does not know of Joseph, King?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So like as I said, things are passed over generation to generation. You have a new Pharaoh that does not know of Joseph. We know that Joseph was putting things of the Most High into when his brothers was living in Mitzrayim. So now you have a Pharaoh that has no clue of that. He's gonna come up from his way and
But my question is, well, so anybody else got? So I gotta let me go to first Samuel, 1 Samuel, and I'm going to read chapter 25, and I'm gonna start at verse 8. No, I'm gonna start at verse 4, and I'm gonna read verse 13.
25.
1 Samuel 25, starting at verse 4. And it says, And David heard in the wilderness that Nabal did shear his sheep. And David sent out 10 young men. And David said unto the young men, Get you up to Carmel, and go to Nabal, and greet him in my name. And thus shall ye say to him that lives in prosperity, Peace be unto you, and peace be to your house, and peace be unto all that you have. And now I have heard that you have shearers. Now your shepherds, which were with us, we hurt them not. Neither was there aught missing unto them. All the while they were in Carmel. Ask your young men, and they will show you. Wherefore, let the young man find favor in your eyes, for we come in a good day. Give, I pray you, whatsoever comes to your hand, unto your servants, and to your son David. And when David's young men came, they spoke to Nabal according to all those words in the name of David and ceased. So David says, look, go up to Nabal, because we've been taking care of his boys. Go up to Nabal, ask him, can he break us off something? Because I heard he just got paid. So ask him, can he give us some, something for, looking out for him? Can he look out for us? Because we're hungry. This is what Nabal says. And Nabal answered David's servant and said, who is David? And who is this son of Yeshai, or Jesse? There may be many servants nowadays that break away from every man his master. Question. When did David tell his servants to tell Nabal that I'm the son of Jesse? He didn't? So how would Nabal know that?
Right.
What? No. Nabal, that means that Nabal knows that, right? So why did he ask who is David? Y'all know the answer.
Okay. Go ahead.
I wasn't gonna say that.
I mean, in both instances, it's more so that he just doesn't regard him, like he doesn't respect or regard him.
Yeah.
Like he's nobody to him.
Yeah, like
Right.
who are you
Right,
that I should
right.
respect you? It's many servants that break away. He knew who his father was. He knew what his position was. He knew that he ran away from King Shaul. He knew all of that. Still, he's asking, who are you? Because why should I care about you? I have what I have. Why should I care? So I use that. Now let's go back to Shemot. And it's the same thing. Pharaoh knows exactly. Joseph saved the nation. No, Joseph saved the world. How do you not know the man who saved not only the world, but especially the place that you run? How do you not know him? No. Joseph is dead. So now you don't care.
Right.
So now it's like, oh, you did this. Yeah, he did this, but who is Joseph? I run things now. I don't care who Joseph was. And it's a lot of y'all. So we got to deal with y'all. Now, Adon read Bereshit 1 on purpose and accidentally. Because when it says in verse 7, it says, And the children of Israel were fruitful and increase abundantly. That word increase abundantly is sharatz. It means to multiply, to bring forth abundantly. That word for multiply is rabah. It means to become numerous, to multiply, to make large. Both of those words are used when the Creator was creating the world. That's the only other place that you see them up until this point. Oh, sleek eye, my fault. When he created the world and after the flood.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So what would that say to you? If he uses the same terminology,
Before the flood and after the flood.
say that again, Mom.
Sounds like he's recreating. It's a new day. It's the beginning of something new. It's just like you began and then and everything was kind of wiped out at Noah, after the flood, and it's recreating and starting anew. So
Okay. He's creating his own world in the nation of Israel. The nation of Israel is, they say in Isaiah 45:17, it says that Israel, you are a world without end.
Yeah.
Then you go to the infamous Yehukanan 3:16 or John 3:16. It says, "For God so loved."
World.
There you go.
Who is he talking about?
Israel.
Wow.
For he so loved.
yeah, we heard that.
Real different.
For he so loved his world that he gave his only begotten Son. How you know that? It said that the angel said that he's bringing forth you will name him Yahusha, for he will bring forth salvation to who?
Israel.
To his people. Okay. So to get off of that aspect before we go somewhere else, what the Most High is saying here is that he's creating something that is going to take over. He created the world. After the flood, he created it again. Now he's using the same terminology as to what he's doing to his nation. Okay. Okay. So he's not here, so I'll start reading verse 9. No. Can you start reading from verse 9? Oh, no, sleek eye. And he said, verse 10 right after I say this. And he said unto his people, behold, the people of the children of Israel. In Hebrew, the word people is am. It means people, but it also means nation. So this is the first instance where you see the nation of Israel being mentioned. Remember, I told you after verse 6, we're no longer dealing with individuals. We are no longer individual households. We are the nation of Israel.
And what was that word, people?
Am.
Okay.
Am or So
10 and all.
So we are now an abundant, numerous, and very mighty nation. Now, when you read Yasher, the backdrop to that part is there was a king. It was a grandson of Esau who came against Mitzrayim. Mitzrayim sent 3,000 people to go fight. Right? They asked the children of Israel to help, but then they got scared of us. So they was like, look, y'all chill over here. If we need help, we're going to call y'all. It was 150 Israelites. Or Yehudi. So Mitzrayim get torn off. So they run back to the children of Israel and they're like, yo, come help us. So as Israel goes and help, the Mitzrayites or the Egyptians, they flee. So they leave 150 men to fight an army. Nevertheless, y'all know how we do, our L, we don't lose when we are in right standing. We handle them, the people, we make them flee, and the Mitzrayites like, oh yeah, thank you. And we're like, don't say thank you to me. Where were you? Where were your antennas when all these Mitzrayim were in our face? So you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna kill every Mitzrayim we see, and we're gonna say that y'all were the enemy. So we went through. It was like, oh snap, that's the son of Esau. So they killed them all the way back to Goshen. So the Pharaoh gets word of this, and that's why he's saying, let's deal wisely with them, lest they fight with our enemies. That's just the backstory. It's midrash, but it's fun. Verse 10. We're in verse 10. Are you good? Yes, sir. Shemot 1:10.
Come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply and it comes to pass that when their foes, let me start over. Come on, let us deal wisely with them. They multiply, and it comes to pass that when there falls out any war, they join also unto our enemies and fight against us, and so get them up out of the land. Therefore, they did not set over them taskmasters to afflict them with their burdens, and they built for Pharaoh treasure cities, Pithom and Ramesses. And the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew. And they were grieved because of the children of Yasharel, and the Mitzrayim made the children of Yasharel to serve with rigor.
Okay, hold on. Sleek out. When I say sleek out, I'm just going to tap you. I don't want to cut you off. Okay, so let us act wisely with them. That word is kakam. It means to show one's wisdom or to deceive. So, how did they deceive them? Gotta go back to Yasher for the backstory. So what occurred was they said, y'all having too many babies. Y'all Negroes in America, y'all have too many babies. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put the men to work.
Yeah.
Hard work. But we gotta get them to come to work because right now they're sovereign. So they said, all right, look, King, have a decree. You tell everybody in Egypt to come and build these 2 cities. And we'll pay them. And also ask them up in Goshen to come build these cities, and we're going to pay them. So they came. Of course, we came because, why not get some extra money? So we come, and one by one, the Egyptians start fading back. And we were getting paid at first, but then they stopped paying. And then they stopped paying. And then as soon as we wanted to stop, they put taskmasters over us, and then they started. Yeah, exactly. So it went from paid labor,
I thought they put them in debt. I thought they put them in debt, like
With the whip?
To keep them
to keep them working. They put them in like some type of debt, something that they couldn't pay off.
Oh, well.
Huh? I'll read it again.
You're gonna table that.
We need to go table that one.
When I speak of Midrash, it's the sages and it's Yasher. Now, anybody else got anything else? Just cite your source, and we can build on it. I don't have a problem with it because it's all Israel. But so that's how they got them enslaved. So the plan was to keep the men and the women away from each other.
They too close to keep doing things.
Exactly.
Yeah, for real.
So I'm gonna keep the men at work. I'm gonna break down the men so that they are not able to reproduce.
Yeah, they broke down.
But the difference is, no, they didn't break down because behind every great man is a
Great
woman.
So we're gonna switch that. Behind every righteous man is a. Okay, so they were told, the men were told, y'all gotta sleep in the field. Y'all sleep in the field, y'all work in the field. The women were sleeping in the city. But at every night, the women would come to the field.
I gotta bring up some water real
Come to the
quick.
field. Make sure that their eats is fine. The kids are taken care of. Thank you for your hard labor. That's all I'm saying.
Here go this water.
Exactly.
Just bring you some water.
Okay.
Long cup of water.
Anyway, okay. So water, gardens, yes. So that's why we continue to reproduce. And the labor was tedious, but it was in vain. Because every time we would build the city, they would tear down the city at night. So it'd be like you would build something up, and then when you come back the next morning, you gotta start all over. But you can't say anything because now you're in bondage when you were sovereign. Which is very interesting because we didn't fight even though we were mighty. So that means the creator he's in this. However, okay, let's you start at verse 15. So remember, we're still having babies. Go ahead, verse 15.
And the king of Mitzrayim spoke to the Hebrew midwives, of which the name of the one was Shimphra, and the name of the other Puah. And he said, when ye do the office of a midwife to the Hebrew women, and see them upon the stools, if it be a son, then ye shall kill him. But if it be a daughter, then she shall live. But the midwives feared Elohim, and did not as the king of Mitzrayim commanded them. but save the men, children alive.
Why?
Why
The
do
women for themselves, couldn't
Why do they fear Elohim?
What's the
No,
question?
what? Okay, well, if he stopped at the proper verse, I'm
That's
sorry.
what
So why do he fear Elohim?
Why would you kill the young man?
Why did he want to kill the young man? Why did he kill that man?
That's what he's asking.
Because the men grew up, the
I'm gonna answer.
Strength, they can
the
rise
boys
up.
grew up to be men.
Yeah,
Yeah.
rise up,
to be men, not more babies.
Just,
and
just
then rise up against,
Say it again.
Mitzrayim.
Wait, hold on.
You know what I'm saying?
He my sentence.
oh, hold on.
Yeah.
The boys grew up to be men, and then
Most
that's
men.
more babies. If it's girls and no men to make the babies,
Yeah.
they can't multiply as
Straight.
fast.
Yeah, they
You
can.
cut off.
Or they end up being wives to their men.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yep. Then you gotta mix seed.
Right.
Then you gotta mix seed. Go
Right.
ahead.
Go ahead.
That too.
A great parallel to that would be slavery. They broke the men, and they broke the men. So when the women saw the men being broken, the women would therefore domesticate basically the young boys.
Yes.
And so the young boys would not grow up to revolt. So that's why they want to kill the young men, because at this point they know that the power of the men will overthrow them over time.
Yeah.
So that's they wanted to, like you said, the women. Hey, we have the women to ourselves.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the men, you can't do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Buck breaking. That's what they call it. Buck
Why would
Yes.
they kill the young men and keep the women alive? So, so there are aspects of everybody's answer which is correct. Yes, if the men are gone, they can't reproduce, right? And the women, y'all hold the seed, correct? The nashim. Okay. Who continues the culture?
The men.
Man,
The men continue the culture. Women are built to be a what?
Help.
A helpmeet. So
The women gonna continue.
So if you have a Egyptian man marrying all the women that were supposed to uphold the covenant, they're going
Culture's
to
down.
kill the culture of the Hebrew.
Yeah.
The women, that's why once we go further, the Most High says, if you see a woman at the war and you want her and she has no man, you can take her. Why? Because you will break her into whatever it is of your household.
Yeah.
That's why we, outside of Canaanite women, because they were just rebellious and do some other stuff. But for the most part, women help to increase whatever the man does.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
You increase it.
Yeah.
So if a man is wicked, you increase the wickedness. So that's why kill the man, keep the women, because we can take the women and make them our women.
Yeah.
Also, Joshua, he had a dream. Somebody was going to raise up, kind of very similar to Yahusha.
Yep.
Somebody's going to raise up, and they're going to take over.
Yep.
And can't stop it. But that's what they do. But the midwives fear Elohim and did not do as the Mitzrayim commanded, but say you shall be alive. Go ahead, verse 18. You can read verse 18 to the end of the chapter.
And the king of Mitzrayim called for the midwives and said unto them, why have you done this thing? And have saved the men, children alive. And the midwives said unto Pharaoh, because the every women are not as the Mitzrayim women, for they Mitzrayim women, for they are lively, and are delivered ere the midwives come in unto them. Therefore Elohim dealt well with the midwives, and the people multiplied and waxed very mighty. And it came to pass, because the midwives feared Elohim, that he made them houses. And Pharaoh charged all his people, saying, every son that is born ye shall cast into the river, and every daughter ye shall save alive.
Okay. So a couple things here. You see that these midwives were Hebrew. They were Hebrews. So they said that these Hebrew women are not like the Egyptian women, for they are lively. That word is mighty. They are a different breed.
Right.
And I'm sure that most
Oh,
all of y'all know what kind of breed y'all are. Y'all are a supernatural breed
Okay.
of woman. Y'all just have babies, y'all get up, and then y'all go back and do whatever it is that y'all need to do. They not like the Egyptian women. So it came to pass, the midwives feared Elohim, and he made them houses. So these women did not have children. These women did not have husbands. They were just doing what the Most High asked them to do. And because of that, he gave them what it is that they were longing for. Verse 22, it says, and Pharaoh charged all his people, saying, every son that is born ye shall cast into the river, and every daughter ye shall save alive. When the people don't sell out, when we don't sell out each other, the enemy is recognizable.
Yeah.
If I know everybody in here is 100 and we go on a straight line, now I know exactly who the enemy is because we're all on one accord. If we're on one accord, you know where the enemy is because he's not going to do what you do.
Right.
Eventually, he's going to have to switch and reveal whoever it is that he is.
That's right.
Yes.
So I got to have your circle type.
Yeah, exactly.
Chapter 2. Go ahead, Adon.
And there went a man of the house of Levi and took to be his woman and daughter of Levi. And the woman conceived and bore son. And when she saw him, that he was a goodly child, she hid him 3 months. And when she could not longer hide him, she took for him the ark of bulrushes and Doth it was slain, and with pigs, and put the child therein. And she laid it in the reeds by the river's brink. And his sister stood afar off to wit what would be done to him.
Okay, so couple things. One, so you see 2 Levi, the Abba, his name is Amram, and the Imam, or mother, is Yocheved. They have a child. It is written that Moshe was a premature baby. He was born at 7 months. And when he was born, the room lit up. The room lit up. So that's why she said that he was a goodly child. He was premature, yet he was still strong, and the room lit up. She could no longer hide him, which I don't know why they did this, but they let Egyptian women come into their houses. So they would hide their children like in the back room or something. The young man, they would hide. So the Egyptian women would bring in a baby of their own, and the baby would start crying, the Egyptian baby. So then once, when one baby cries, another baby's going to eventually cry. So they would find out where the boy is, and then they would go back to the Egyptians, and they would come get the baby, throw him in the river. So that's what happened to her. The baby was found out, that's why she could no longer hide Moshe. So she had to do something with Moshe. And the sister who stood afar off, her name is what? Miriam. Miriam is a prophet. She is the one who told her father. So once the decree went out to destroy the children, Amram, Moshe's father, separated from his Isha. He didn't want to procreate. So Miriam, being a prophet, she prophesied, no, you have to go back to Imam, you have to go back to the mother, because a son is going to be born who will deliver us. So he went back, so on and so forth. That's why she is so anxious on trying to figure out what's going to happen to this boy, because this is the one that was prophesied of. Okay, let's go.
And the daughter of Pharaoh came down to wash herself at the river. And her maidens walked along the riverside. And when she saw the ark among the reeds, she sent her maid to fetch it. And when she had opened it, she saw the child, and behold, the baby wept. And she had compassion on her and said, this is one of the Ephraim children. Then said his sister to Pharaoh's daughter, shall I go and call to a nurse of the Ephraim women, that she may nurse the child for you? And Pharaoh's daughter said to her, go. And the maid went and called the child's mother. And Pharaoh's daughter said unto her, take this child away and nurse it for me, and I will give you your wages. And the woman took the child and nursed it. And the child grew, and she brought him unto Pharaoh's daughter, and he became her son. And she called his name Moshe. And she said, because I drew him out of the water.
Okay. Mothers, Nashim, period. Would you be able to do that?
Well,
Put your baby in the water?
well, I mean, you put them in the water.
With the alligators and everything.
Otherwise, they would die. So yeah, it can.
I would rather my child die by the river than by the hand of Pharaoh.
That sounds like a very
You didn't answer.
interesting story.
You didn't answer.
Oh, I was letting everybody know.
Yeah,
Would yes, sir. Just what Jessica said.
Uh-oh.
There's more of a chance for the survival of my son to let him go even though he's hidden, especially if I'm believing in the hand of Yah. And I know what I know has been said about him. It's been prophesied. And rather than keep him and allow him to be killed, I would let him go and depend on Yah to protect him so that he could fulfill the prophecy.
For me, I don't know. It's easy, I guess, to say, yeah, when you're reading this story, you know how it worked out, but if I didn't know or hadn't read this, I don't know if I could do it.
That's honest.
I agree with Apostle Medina in that it's the same thing as Abraham and Isaac. He knew he was a child of promise. And so you kind of have to say, all right, this is what you said, so I got to believe that you're going to make sure that this baby lives. So keeping it in the house with me is not going to be good, so.
Right, because didn't you say it was prophesied that when he was born, you know, what he would be? And so if I trust Yah, then rather than take the chance and try to hide him myself with me, because I would be found out, my movements would be seen. Anybody can hear him crying, you know, with me, he could be found out. But if he's put safe in the rush in the river, he'll be hidden.
I gotta ask this just for personal enjoyment. I'm sorry. Would you be able to put Ben in the water?
Nope.
Absolutely not.
See, I knew she would. The boy, would you be able to put any other babies in the water?
Any of my babies? It depends on who you're talking about.
You want to know which baby going in the water?
That's a really good question. So I have a question. Wow. To kind of camel back off of that. Would you rather kill your baby or have your baby be in slavery?
Would I rather kill my baby
Or your baby be in slavery? If it's a boy.
I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that.
That's the thing right there. There were women who would give birth on the slave ships, and they would jump off the slave ship because they rather their children die than to go into that type of bondage. It's these scenarios that it's kind of like we ask these questions, but we don't really know until we're actually put in that type of scenario. No different than would you jump in front of a bullet for a brother. You don't really know what you will do. You may say no, and then when the time comes, you actually do it because it's just an instant. These are hectic times that they're going through. The men are constantly gone. They're being broken down through labor. Women are seeing this. Like they said, Moshe's father didn't even want to be there. And it's not that he didn't love his wife, but he did not even want to continue to put her through that type of turmoil. So when we think about all these different situations, like it's easy for a man to be like, yo, I'd rather kill my baby than have another man kill my baby. You know, like, because we don't think about the situation. We just think about, do I want my child to go through this? Or do I want my child not to go through this? But for a woman, it's a little bit different because the baby comes literally out of you. So there's a different connection that you have. The baby incubated for 9 months, you know, inside your womb. It's lived off your life force. I see it every day with my daughter. So,
I was gonna say, you got a daughter?
Yeah.
How would you feel?
Exactly.
He ain't lose it though.
like I got
It's the
boys,
same thing.
I got boys, I got girls, and that's the thing. Like, if I knew that my daughter had a life or death decision where my daughter can live, but I knew she was gonna be raped for the rest of her life, or my daughter died, me thinking like I would rather my daughter die than have to be humiliated like that time and time again. But
I'm going to speak to that in just a second. I'll hold that thought.
okay.
Go ahead, David. And then Imam.
Coming back for what he was saying. Now, when it comes to the boys, right?
Yes.
I beg to differ because,
Go ahead.
okay, we know your boy is going to be going into slavery, right? Me, because I want my name to live, I'm going to take that chance. Say, hey, y'all might make a way for him while he's going through slavery, and he might get whatever, but he might be living to create a new one when that's done. So, I just let him go. I want him to live, to go through it, because you might make it.
Imam, and then go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say there was, I can't think of the mountain, but over in Israel, there's a mountain where there was a city, and it started with an M. And
Moriah?
no. Anyway, it was after the Romans had started coming and taking over.
Medina.
No. But, It was after
Masada?
the Romans had started. Masada.
Okay.
That's Masada. That's my movie right there.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
they committed suicide and killed each other before they were gonna allow their children to be overtaken by slaves, and before the men were gonna allow their wives to be taken by the Romans, and become slaves. They did away with each other. And I think it's a mindset that they must have had, because the slavery, they'd already been through a lot, and so they knew the type of slavery and the type of wickedness would come upon their children. But if they believed the prophecy that came forth from Yah, then they would, like David said, they would put their kids in a place that they would believe that maybe they could make it. Maybe my son will make it. If I send him off, maybe he'll make it, and Yah will see him through.
Yeah, all of this comes down to pretty much two words. It's either fear or faith.
Okay.
Yep.
Do you fear what will happen to your child, or do you have faith that the Most High covers your child? Because like that we said, yeah, okay, you jump off the boat. There are many great and untold stories in the bottom of the ocean.
Right.
Right. We won't hear them. We don't know their names. There are ancestors that were cut off, but everybody in this room chose to persevere.
Okay.
If everybody jump off the boat, there is no more nation.
Right. Somebody got to go through it.
The whole objective of Torah, the whole objective of what the Creator asks us to do is to preserve life. Yeah, it may be an afflicted life, but like Adon said, yeah, you may be the one to bring forth the one that'll get us out of here.
Yeah.
But if you're killing off everybody because you fear that, then one, we're not getting out of here, and two, now you're cutting off our longevity. There is no more Yisrael yet. And that has nothing to do with, if we took the spiritual aspect out of it, and we just said, do you want to live or do you want to die? Do you want to end the story, or do you want to just have a story where people, they're going to shed some tears while reading it, but they know that there are more pages after this? That's the difference between our ancestors and even in Masada. You have Masada and you have the people that were in the mountain, and then you have the Maccabees.
Right.
You have some of them out that's like, no, we're not going to do this on Shabbat. The Most High will take care of us. And then you have some like, yeah, the Most High will take care of us, but we're going to deal with you first. So if we got to go, it's because we had, y'all got to go too.
Right.
Okay.
There are two different mentalities.
Yeah.
None of our ancestors, you don't read any of our ancestors saying, I'd rather take death, unless it had to do with disobeying the commands of the Creator. That's the only time that we're going to take death. I'll take death over betrayal. Outside of that, It's me and you.
Right.
And L's on my side.
There you go.
And I think that's the whole key, because they knew that the Most High was going to fight for them and take care of them.
Okay. That's the thought process. But I mean,
That's how we're looking
it's, I understand when you're put in a situation, sometimes you don't think like that. You say, like, look, if they gonna throw my baby in the river already, that's a 0% chance of existing after that moment.
Yeah.
If I put them in a bull rush, I don't know. But there's a chance.
Yeah.
Whenever there's a chance, that means faith is involved.
Yeah.
And he called his name Pharaoh, drew him out the water. Then it says that he became grown, or he grew strong.
Mm.
He grew strong. He knew who he was. I don't know if anybody saw the movie the Prince of Egypt, where they made it seem like he just didn't know who he was, or
Right.
his family, and none of that.
Lies.
Absolutely not. He was weaned, which means that he was with his mother, his brother, and his sister. And his father, and everybody else who was walking around speaking Hebrew.
Because doesn't it say he spoke Hebrew too?
Okay, because he had to speak to the Hebrews that we're about to talk about. Go read from 11 to 15. I keep.
And it came to pass in those days when Moshe was grown, that he went out unto his brethren and looked on their burdens, and he splattered Mishri, smiting in Hebrew, one of his brethren. And he looked this way and that way. He looked to the left and to the right. I want to see nobody.
Everybody do that to this day.
Yeah, I'm gonna take you out.
That's a natural cut of black man.
And when he saw that there was no man, he slew the victim and hid him in the sand. So he killed him in there. And when he went out the second day, behold, 2 men of the Ephraim strove together, and he said to him that did the wrong, wherefore smite ye your fellow? And he said, who made you a prince and a judge over us? Intend ye to kill me as you killed the Mizraim? And Moshe feared and said, surely this thing is known. Now when Pharaoh heard this thing, he sought to slay Moshe. But Moshe fled from the face of Pharaoh and dwelt in the land of Midian. And he sat down by a well.
So, from 10 to 15, this is the entire Torah. From verse 11 to verse 15, if you understand that, you understand the rest of the Torah. Not the laws and all of that, but you understand what it is that Moshe goes through. For one, he is chosen to judge the Mitzrayim, who were oppressing the Hebrews. So he judges them, which the Most High sentence was death. And he deals with him, hides him in the sand, buries him under earth. Same thing when we coming out the water. Most High, well, in this portion, the Most High said, I'm choosing you, and by your hand I'm going to judge the Mitzrayim. He judges them. The next day, 2 Hebrews are fighting, and he doesn't kill one of them, he judges. He's the judge between what's right and what's wrong. So he says to the one that does wrong, what's wrong with you? So you see him, through his hand, judgment is brought forth, and then the next day, judgment is brought forth, and no sentence is given. And the Hebrews, which we read about throughout the rest of the Torah, they don't take sound judgment. They're like, who are you to judge us? Who are you? Yeah, I see what you did to the and it's said that the Hebrew that is now doing wrong is the same Hebrew that was getting beat up yesterday. So you were getting beat up yesterday. Now you're beating somebody else up, and you're asking me, who am I? I saved your life through the hand of the Creator. Same thing going on today. With us, we tell our people what's going on. They tell us, who are you?
That's right.
Only God could judge me.
That's right.
Yeah, only God can judge me.
Don't judge me.
Well, when I hear from God, then I do it.
You're not perfect.
Have mercy.
I don't want to hear from you. You tell him to come down and put him on the mountain, and I'll listen.
That's right.
You foolish.
That's what we do. Have mercy.
Well, okay. So you see, that happening. Now you see that Moshe is fleeing from the place of two mindsets, and he goes into Midian. Midian means strife or contention.
Yeah.
So you go from the place of two mindsets, and now you go into a place where you have to deal with yourself. You've chosen which mindset you chose, because you're in this room. Now you got to deal with yourself and fight the things that you learned when you were in the place of two mindsets. Because just because you left that place doesn't mean that you still don't have both in you.
That's right. That's
So
good.
now you got to go deal with that.
Yeah.
Have to.
Because if you don't deal with that, how will you be able to go back to the place of two mindsets and tell them to follow you?
Right.
You can't pull somebody out of what you are still in.
Amen.
Say that one more time. That sounds good how you said it.
You cannot pull somebody out of what you are still in, or what you have not escaped yourself. Because you got to go back in to get them.
Yeah.
But you have to learn how to get out first. And then when you go back in, you'll be able to tell them, like, chill, relax, I got it. You can deal with their fears by your faith. Because you've done it.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
Okay, verse 16, okay.
Now the priest of Midian had 7 daughters, and they came into water and filled the troughs to water their father's flock. And the shepherds came and drove them away. But Moshe stood up and helped them. There you go. That's my man. Moshe stood up and helped them and watered their flock.
Okay, hold up, right there. Okay, who else watered a flock at a well? Okay, prior to Mama, so let's go back. Retrospect. Who else helped the flock at the well?
Rebecca.
Yeah. Well, no, I heard the guy she married. Hold on. Moshe's wife? No, it was goodness.
It was a forefather.
Yes.
No.
Isaac did the woman, right?
He bought the well. Who is Isaac's son? I just help y'all out.
Yaakov.
Okay, Yaakov, good. Okay, boom, got it.
Wait,
Anyway,
You say Yaakov.
I'm gonna help you. As soon as I get to the scripture.
Isaac's wife.
I thought you said Yaakov. Somebody said Yaakov. I think she said.
Oh, you say Yaakov?
No, I said Rivka.
Uh-oh.
You said who?
Who also watered flocks at a well?
Water.
I thought you said it was a woman.
Who drew water?
Because she
No,
drew
but-
the water for the
Yeah.
flock.
Who? These women?
No, not Rebecca.
Rivka. Yes, but okay, yes, but no. Okay, yes, but
That wasn't the
no.
answer you were looking for.
The answer was correct, but who I was looking for was Yaakov.
Yeah.
Because the situations are similar. When it came to Rivka, it was due to the Most High showing the sign. When it was due to Yaakov, there was a barrier that prevented the flocks from being watered that he overcame, which was the stone that was on top of the well. That they would only move and then they would push back. In this instance, you have them being able to get the water, but they're shooing them off. So in one instance, the shepherds, I'll let y'all know where I'm going with this. In one instance, you have shepherds who are preventing you from getting the word, period.
Come on.
And then you have other shepherds who will allow you to get the word, but only when they're present.
Oh.
Don't read what I found.
Say that again. I need you to repeat that.
I've been told that before. Don't you read without me though.
What?
I need you to say that again.
So when we're dealing with Yaakov, which is chapter 29, Bereshit, there is a stone on top of the well that is moved, the flocks are watered, and then it's put back. Yaakov removes the stone, waters the flocks, and keeps it uncovered. So those are the shepherds who will only allow you to eat or drink when they're present. And then you have a situation with Moshe, whereas they're not allowing you to get the water, period. They're removing you from the source, period. They're shooing you off, which is why Moshe had to stand up and help them and water the flock. So I'm going to stop them from moving you away. I'm going to help you get the water, and then I'm going to water the flock myself. So, which shepherd do you have? Not me. I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about mentally, or what kind of shepherd are you, or however you want to deal with it. There are two types of shepherds that you need to stay away from. The well is the word. Period.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So in verse 18 says what, though?
And when they came to Reuel, the father, he said, how is it that ye are come so soon today? And they said, and Mitzrayim delivered us out of the hand of the shepherds, and also drew water enough for us, and watered the flock. And he said unto his daughters, and where is he? Why is it that ye have left the man? Call him, that he may eat bread. And Moshe was content to dwell with the man. And he gave Moshe Zipporah, his daughter, and she bore him a son, and he called his name Gershom. For he said, I have been a stranger in a strange land.
Hold on, Lucky. Okay, lovely lady.
Why is it that nobody else dealt with the shepherd? Why is it that the women have to go every day through the same contention when there's men there that could have done what he did?
Good question, huh?
It's nothing. Okay, so I like what you said earlier, since you was like, it's easy to say something in regards to the scriptures when you're reading the story. But in real life, which this is real life, but presently, when you're dealing with things presently, do you have that same energy? So we say, well, it should have been some man that stopped that back then. But we have today similar shepherds in both of those situations, and nobody says anything to them. They do what they got to do. Look, I'm about to get my water. I don't know what y'all got going on, and I'm gonna keep going with my way. There are only certain men certain leaders that do what they're supposed to do and take care of everybody. Everybody's not Yaakov. Everybody's not Moshe. He called you to be, but not everybody answers the call. And if you notice, in most of these situations, there are the women who are watering the flock. Why are there no male shepherds? Even when you had Laban, his sister was who? Rivka. Who was getting the water? But Laban's the oldest son.
Well, maybe he was old. Maybe his hip was.
He was too.
What a whole scenario with his hip messed up.
That's in the pot.
You said was he tending? You said was he tending the sheep?
No, I'm saying like.
That one hit hard.
Because she says it, that's really wrong. But no, and it's a dual part. A man has his part and a woman has his part, and especially when it comes to
Man has his part.
when a man has his part and a woman has their part.
Oh, okay.
And that's how balance comes together. So she was doing something, but he was most likely doing something too, because they were brothers and sisters. No father or mother is going to have the daughter just doing stuff and the son's not doing stuff. We just don't know what it was doing because it wasn't for the narrative.
I think the man would kill him.
We wouldn't know, but we know that Laban had 2 daughters. He still was on that land, and they're still doing the same thing. So we can take from that, say, okay, he was learning how to manage the lands, because when the daughter leaves, she's going from the household to go to another man's house, but the son stays to take care of for the longevity. So
he was cleaning the house.
It was part of the culture.
He was cleaning the house. He was cleaning the
It just
house.
sounds like that was the culture. The women went and got the water, and
doing something heavy duty, like killing a goat or something.
Man.
Getting the water?
Hitting the water is heavy.
Okay, so
The gut
So
and the
They
goat.
did it, they put it on their head.
We did some strong.
so we're about to read.
There you go.
So okay, well, that's chapter 3. But what? Go ahead.
He told Eliezer, I was cleaning the house for you. So, you know, that's what he was doing. He was tending to the house.
When you did when?
When he came to get Rivka, and he came out and he was like, I prepared the house for you.
Oh, but that's because Rivka went back and told him what was going on. So he didn't know until Rivka was like, "Yo, our family's here, so on and so forth." Then he prepared the house and he came out and got it.
Oh, okay.
But so I understand the answers, right? But we're going to read in chapter 3 that it goes from 7 daughters shepherding the sheep to who?
In chapter 3.
Chapter 3, verse 1.
So Moses.
Okay, so it went from it's no longer the women doing the job, because now a man who is capable is here to do it.
Right.
Showed up.
Stepped up.
The hype.
So she no longer has to do that. It's fine. Thank you for bringing the groceries and doing all that. Wonderful. Take a seat. I got it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because the Most High placed me in that position to do it.
Yeah.
Where it took 7 women to do it, now y'all can go on and do whatever y'all got to do, because now somebody's here to take the rightful position of what you shouldn't have been doing anyway.
Okay. That's good.
Yeah, good thing.
So Moses will
That sounds a
continue.
lot like church.
Sound like church?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
Because when you're in a church, what you see is majority women
Yeah.
doing everything.
Yeah.
And back to what you were saying, why is it that they're men and they're allowing the shepherd to do whatever, the people to do whatever, the pastors to do whatever they want to do? 9 times out of 10, if the woman is married, her husband is saying something wrong with that man, there's something wrong over there at that place, but you continue to go and you continue to do what you're doing instead of listening to what he is saying, because he's picking up something else is wrong. But when the men take their rightful place, then the women come and they kind of step back and then they allow the men to lead.
Okay. But the problem with that scenario at the beginning, where the man is saying, there's something wrong over there, you probably shouldn't be going over there, the man's not going.
Right.
So he's saying, baby, he comes up to the window with a car like, baby, I don't think you should go. And then she drives off and he go back in the house.
Yeah, but there are times when they go and they will, and I know people whose husbands have said something ain't right, and they still go, and eventually they find out what ain't right. And so I'm just saying, and I'm not saying that they don't ever go, but I'm saying, okay, so let's just say we go together the first time, and she's like, okay, I think I like this, and he's like, and he ain't going back no more.
Right.
But she will continue to go.
Right.
That's all I'm saying. So it's not that he's never been.
Her faith is in a different place than his.
Well, I told my Isha when we met, I'm sorry, I'm telling the story.
Tell it.
I told her, I'm not going to church.
Make it real.
I'm not going to church no more. But she's still with the church. So I had to get up, put on clothes, and go to church with her, and sit beside her and bug her every service, and be like, "He's lying right there."
He was tired.
That's not true. I just went up afterwards and was like, "You said that we're all Gentiles. We're not Gentiles." And he was like, and then we just left, and then we had to go to another place, and it's the same thing. So eventually, the man does have to go, and if it's wrong, if that's your whatever, your wife, your woman, whatever, you have to take her away from the situation,
Right.
or if she's going to be there, fix the situation.
Right.
Yeah.
But you also did something. You were showing her what was wrong.
Yeah.
See,
Every second.
go back to like what she was saying. If that man's not stepping up and he's like, babe, there's something wrong, and according to the scriptures, this is what's going on.
Yeah.
He's teaching her something. So that's the thing. If the man's not teaching the woman, especially when it comes to spiritual things,
You don't know.
you don't know.
Okay.
But he can pick up that something's not right.
We're on verse 23. So he gave Zipporah, his daughter. He had a son now named Gershom, or Gershom, which means stranger here or stranger there. So you stranger in the strange land. And 23 through 25, okay?
And it came to pass in process of time that the king of Mitzrayim died. And the children of Yashuel sighed by reason of the bondage, and they cried. And the cry came up to Elohim by reason of the bondage. And Elohim heard their groaning. And Elohim remembered his covenant with Abraham. With Yitzchak, and with Yaakov. And Elohim looked upon the children of Yashuel, and Elohim had respect unto them.
Question. You don't answer, Kyle. What do you see in the first chapter? I'll tell y'all this. I'm not going to give y'all the verse. What do you see in the first chapter and what you just read in the beginning of the first chapter? I'll give y'all a clue. And what we just read in verses 23 through 25. Where it says, and it came to pass in verse 23. Verse 23 of chapter 2, and then the beginning of chapter 1.
Well, y'all didn't come, he didn't come to their rescue as such in the beginning. This time, he heard them and he heard them and he remembered his covenant. But the first time, he said in chapter 1 or chapter 2?
So chapter 1, I'll give y'all some verses to look at. Chapter 1, between 7 and 9, and chapter 2, verse 23.
The king died, and the next king took over and still didn't care about the nation that's under him.
Okay. I thought you were asking me about that order, but yes, I'm
No,
glad
I
that
was
you
raising my
answered.
hand, but
Okay.
it's on hand to have.
Good, that's the answer. A king died. There is a change of leadership. Whenever there is a change of leadership, there is an opportunity to change the status, to change your status with Elohim. So either you're going to change and you're going to move higher, or you're going to change your direction completely. So in chapter 1, right, we went from a sovereign nation in the land of Goshen to once a new king arose that didn't know Yosef or didn't regard Yosef, we went from a sovereign nation in Goshen to now we're in slavery. Now you have another king that is raising up that no longer seeks Moshe's life. So now you went from sovereign to slavery. Now this change is going to go from slavery to now the time of your redemption is near. Because there's a change of leadership. Now Moshe is about to go back. Because the king died. So you bring that to today, and now gotta keep it high. You have elders dying off. You have leaders going to jail. You have leaders leaving the pulpit. You have leaders leaving their place where they taught. Changes of leadership are occurring. That means that a different mindset is about to be at the top. Now the question is, what is the mindset of that leader? When we ask for a king, the Most High told us what the king will be like, right? He said he's going to take your daughter, your children, he's going to take your cattle and all of that. But then he said, when he chose David, he said, I'm going to choose a king whose heart is like mine. So their mindset, in Hebrew, the word leg means mind and heart. So whose mind is like mine. So the next person I put in over you guys, they're going to move the way I want them to move. So now it's a situation where once leadership changes, now you have the ability to change your status with the Creator, whether He's now going to hear you or not, whether you're going to start moving in His will or not. Every time there's a change of leadership. 2, there was a unified cry due to bondage is what got the attention of Elohim. There was a unified cry. Question, was everybody getting afflicted in the same manner?
No. Everybody was afflicted.
Okay. So it doesn't matter where you are in this captivity. The Most High scattered us to the four corners. However, the cry is for the Most High to deliver us from the bondage, the spiritual bondage. Because most of us are not enslaved. There is a spiritual bondage. There is a mental bondage that we have to be freed from before we can move into a physical place of shalom. There's spiritual wounds. There are mental wounds. There are emotional wounds. All of those things are bondage. It's not just physical chains. Because the chains have been off for about 200 years now.
Right.
But we're still here. The Creator hasn't heard us or recognized us. So number 3, the cry made him remember. Gave y'all the answer. Elohim heard their groaning, and Elohim remembered his covenant with who?
Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
Cain, it's not about you. You cried out and made him remember who has already finished the race with him, who he is in covenant with. But it was your cry that made him remember. It was your unity that made him remember. It wasn't you. The word for remember or acknowledge is to distinguish or recognize. So it wasn't like he didn't see us. Now I see me now. I see somebody who's brokenhearted. I see somebody who is ready to change. Now let me go. It's not a sense of, oh, y'all in bondage. Okay, well, let me save y'all, even though y'all not crying out to me. Oh, you're in bondage? Be broken. That's the reason for the affliction. The word anah means what? I'm messing with her because her daughter named Anaya. Anyway, anah, it means to be afflicted. It means to humble yourself. But it also means to respond. A-N-A-H. Anah. So what is your response to your affliction? Are you crying out? Or are you just taking it thinking that you can overcome it with your own will?
Come on now.
Are you trying to find every other method? Anaya is wonderful.
She made me cry every day.
The Most High is trying to figure out what method how many methods are you going to choose before you choose him? How many ways are you going to try to get out of this before you say, Most High, I can't get out without you? That's the cry that makes him remember. It's not a cry of, I got it. Or maybe if I just persevere, or maybe if I just fight back, or maybe if I just don't think about it, or maybe if I do this, or that, or maybe if I walk around this building, or maybe if I hold up this sign, or maybe if I try to get this law passed, or maybe if I try to do this, and that. We're still in the same situation, still getting the same results. Because we're not trying the one who placed us here.
That's right.
He's the one who told us to go to Mitzrayim. He's the one who placed us here due to disobedience. So how do you get off of punishment? Yeladim, how do you get off of punishment? Who can get you? Yumia, who can get you out of timeout if your mom put you in timeout?
Oh, wow.
Wrong answer.
I'm sure you're going to be in timeout later. Justin, Mila, Aria, who can get you out of timeout if your parents put you in timeout? Can I get you out of timeout if your dad say go in the corner? Can I tell you come out the corner?
They're scared, boy.
They're gonna be in the corner too.
Yeah, all y'all gonna have some rough nights. Anyway, the point of the matter is nobody can get you out of what the Creator put you in. Period. So until you cry and He recognizes you as the person that I'm looking to bring out, you will not be brought out of whatever situation that you're in. Until you break yourself to where He can put you back together. Let's go to chapter 3.
Now Moshe kept a flock of Yitro, his father-in-law, the priest of Midian, and he led the flock to the backside of the desert and came to the mountain of Elohim, even to Korah.
Okay, so Moshe is now in training. Training comes before your placement. He's leading a flock,
Yeah.
in which we are called the flock of his pasture.
Yeah.
He's leading a flock to the mountain of Elohim. Fast forward about 12 chapters, he's going to lead the flock back to the mountain of Elohim to hear the voice and to get instruction. Point of the matter is, whatever you're doing, the Most High is training you, not for that job, but for what it is that the Most High needs you to do afterwards.
Right.
But if you're looking at wherever you are now,
Right.
as that's where you're going to be for the rest of your life, then you're not going to want to elevate. Your thought process is, I'm going to be here, so you're going to become stagnant.
Yeah.
When the Most High is trying to use you in order to do something else. But you're in your own way. Verse 2, okay? You keep reading.
And the angel of Yahuwah appeared unto him in a flame of fire out of the midst of a thorn bush. And he looked, and behold, the thorn bush burned with fire, and the thorn bush was not consumed. Moshe said, I will now turn aside and see this great sight, but the thorn bush is not burned. And when Yahuwah saw that he turned aside to see, Elohim called unto him out of the midst of the thorn bush and said, Moshe, Moshe. And he said, Here am I. And he said,
Okay. So, the thorn bush. The thorn bush is say name, and is more than likely a blackberry bush. A blackberry bush is resistant to disease, it resists adverse weather conditions, is hard to destroy, and the heavier it gets, the more it leans. So the more weight that the Most High, or the more prestige the Most High places on Israel, we are to become more and more humble.
Yeah.
You can't destroy Israel. We are, when we're doing what we're supposed to do, we don't get sick.
Yeah. Okay.
And it doesn't matter the setting of where we're at. As long as the Most High is there, which is why He is the consuming fire on the bush. The scripture tells us the Most High is a consuming fire. This is about Israel. The Most High only, once again, I'm just going down based on him read, and then okay. So, once He has your attention, then He can call you.
Yeah. Okay.
So you got here because you were interested or curious. Curiosity didn't kill y'all. You were curious about what is this Hebrew stuff that everybody keeps talking about. Why do they do Passover? Or why does it say that we should do this forever and we're not doing it here?
Yeah.
Or why does it look like we fit these curses? You were curious. Well, let me go see why this bush is not on fire. And now I can call you. Now I can say, okay, oh, you reading? Okay, come. Come.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And after the call, there's a what?
Response?
Thank you.
I had no idea that's really what you meant. I was knowing that's what you was looking for.
If I say Imam,
Yeah.
okay.
Respond.
E. You say, what's up? Most of them probably talk like that. He'll probably talk back to you and say, what's up? But, Kane, once you are called, okay, now you want to know about this Hebrew thing? Okay, look, come. Let me show you about it. And then I'm going to call you, and now you have the ability to whether answer or don't say nothing. To respond or not. Okay,
And he said, draw not. And he said, draw not nigh hither. Put off your shoes from off your feet, for the place wherein you stand is on the ground. Moreover, he said, I am the Elohim of your father, the Elohim of Abraham, the Elohim of Yitzchak, and the Elohim of Yahweh. And Moshe hid his face, for he was afraid to look upon Elohim. And Yahweh said, I have surely seen the affliction of my people which are Mitzrayim, and I heard their cry by reason of their taskmasters. For I know the sorrows, and I am come down to deliver them out of the hand of Mitzrayim, and to bring them up out of that land into a good land, and a large, into a good land and a large, into a land full of milk and honey, and to the place of the Canaanite and the Chittim and the Emorite and the Perizim and the Kibiim and the Yebusim. Now therefore, behold, the quail of the children of Yeshua is come unto me, and I have also seen the oppression wherewith the Mizraim oppressed them. Come now, therefore, and I will send you unto Pharaoh, that you may bring forth my people, the children of Yeshua out of Mizraim.
Okay. All right, so verses 7 through 10. Can somebody tell me what is Moshe's job and what is the Creator's job?
Creator is sending them.
He gives both job descriptions in 7 to 10, which will, for those who think that Moshe was supposed to go into the land, this would tell you what his job was.
To bring the people out.
What his job was and what the Creator's job will be. What is Moshe's job?
To deliver the people.
To bring the people out of Mizraim. What does the Most High say he's going to do?
He put him in the land flowing with milk and honey.
Okay, Most High will put him in the land. Moshe, I'm only calling you to bring him out. You do that, job well done.
Yeah, I got
Verse 8 says, and I come down to deliver them out. So the Most High came off his throne?
Low.
Well, it says, and I came down.
Not physically.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm just asking you.
Yeah.
Who was coming down, or did he send his authority down there in order for it to do what he's...
That part.
Okay, but he didn't come off. He don't get up. He like Big Mama. But he tell you, she tell you come all the way downstairs to give me the remote that's right there. I'm not getting up.
Okay.
I got you for that.
Okay.
But through my authority, you gonna go get this remote.
it. Right
You better not say nothing.
That's what children are for.
You better not say nothing.
Don't give me that remote.
I don't care if it's in arm's reach. That's
You
what
been talking
children are
more.
That's
for.
abuse. The shoe be right there. Get my shoe.
Yeah, can't you take my shirt?
You wait till the man get a little older.
Take my
It won't be
shoes
abuse
off.
then.
But yeah, okay, that's the most I ain't going nowhere. But I just wanted to make that distinction. He said he came down, but he's not coming down.
Yeah.
He has representatives for that.
Yeah.
Deputies. Okay, verse 11 through 12.
And Moshe said unto Elohim, who am I, that I should go to Pharaoh, and that I should bring forth the children of Yeshua or Mizraim? And he said, certainly I will be with you, and this shall be a sign unto you, that I have sent you when you have brought forth the people out of Mizraim. You shall serve Elohim upon this mountain.
I don't know about y'all. I believe that Most High is he's funny.
Very.
So Moshe asked a very specific question. He said, who am I to bring the people out of Mizraim and do all this stuff? And the Most High answered him and said what?
Because I am with you.
Yeah.
He said, certainly I will be with you. So he didn't answer the question about who he is. It doesn't matter who you are.
Yeah, he said, I'm going to be with you.
It's not you that does the job of the Creator. The Creator is with you in order to do the job. You're only the vessel.
Yes.
I could use the rocks to cry.
Yes.
I can make sons of the rocks.
Right.
I made the ground bring forth you.
Yeah.
I can do it again. Look, just do what I told you to do. I'm going to be with you.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's not you. It's me. As a matter of fact, I'm going to tell you why it's me. Because as soon as I let you take them out, come back and serve me on this mountain.
Yeah.
Because you're just my servant. A high servant, high-ranking servant, but you're just my servant. Now to the fun part, the name of the Creator. Verse 13 through 15, Akeem.
And Moshe said unto Elohim, behold, when I come unto the children of Yeshua, and shall say unto them, the Elohim of the fathers has sent me unto you, and they shall say to me, what is his name? And what shall I say unto them? And Elohim said unto El Moshe, Ehaya Asher Ehaya.
Say
That's
it
not what
again.
that
Say it one more
says.
time.
Oh, snap, you must got the updated version.
Say it again.
Can you say that,
What about we got?
he got the secret too, but
Oh.
can you say that in English?
He got the new seafood.
That's what that is.
The gold edition.
He said,
He said, and Elohim said unto Moshe, what?
Which one?
I am that I am, right? I mean, it says that in Hebrew, and we're going to deal with that. But I will just, okay. They did that wrong. Keep on to 15, I believe.
Oh no,
And he
come on
said,
to
thus shall ye say unto the children of Yeshua, I am has sent me unto thee. And Elohim said to Moreh unto El Moshe, thus shall he say unto the children of Yasharel, Yahuwah Elohim of your fathers, the Elohim of Abraham, the Elohim of Yitzchak, and the Elohim of Yaakov has sent me unto. This is my name forever. And this is my mission unto all generations.
Okay, so his name is Ahaya Asher Ahaya.
No. You seen what he was at that time.
Okay. Go ahead.
Go together.
I'm
The
like,
elders of Yasharel together.
Hold on, not you, Aki. I still want to know what the name of the thread is. He said, what is his name? He said, I am that I am.
Okay.
What is that?
He is whatever you need him to be.
Okay,
I will be what I will
I
be.
am that I am. I shall be what I shall be.
Yeah.
I was who I was.
Yeah.
That's what all of that means. It just means whatever you need me to be, I am that.
Yeah.
You need me to be a creator? I'll create for you.
Yeah.
You need me to be a shepherd? I'll shepherd you.
Yeah.
You need me to be a healer? I'll heal you.
Yeah.
You need me to be your protector? I'll protect you.
Yeah.
You need me to beat you? I'll beat you. Whatever you need, that's what I will be. But in verse 15 it says what?
And Elohim said, moreover to El Moshe, thus shall he say unto the children of Yasharel, Yahuwah Elohim before us, the Elohim of Abraham, the Elohim of Yitzchak, and the Elohim of Yaakov has sent me unto you. This is my name
Forever. And this is my mention unto all generations.
Yeah.
So when you go, for those of you who don't know, there is some speculation. Well, no, it's just one particular group who says that his name is Ahaya Asher Ahaya.
Say it fast.
Ahaya Asher Ahaya. So when you're dealing with that, in chapter 6 of Shemot, which we'll deal with next week, and it said, and I appeared unto Abraham, Yitzchak, and to Yaakov by the name of El Shaddai, but by my name Yahuwah was I not known to them. His name, the Creator doesn't have a name.
Right. Right.
That's it right there.
Right.
There you go. That just cancel all of that.
Only created things have names. When you create your child, you name your child. If you created a restaurant, you would name the restaurant. If you created some food, you'd be like, I'm gonna call that. The Creator doesn't have a name, but He told us what we are to call Him,
Yeah.
which is Yahuwah or Yahweh or Yahweh or Yehovah or however you pronounce it. Just know that His name is Yod He Wah He
Yeah.
for the children of Israel.
Yeah.
Period. Whatever anybody else names Him or calls Him, that ain't got nothing to do with us. He said, this is what you shall call me. This is my memorial forever.
Yeah.
For the children of Israel.
For the children of Israel and those who attach themselves to this culture.
Yeah.
This is what you will call our deity.
Yeah. Like, man, what's that?
What is what?
We gotta hear the people gotta hear.
Oh, we will call Him Yahuwah or Yahweh. Now, if anybody else call Him anything else, I would have to ask you who you talking about. You talking about the one who created the heaven, the seas, and everything in it? Well, we call Him Yahweh. If you call Him same, you call Him something different, that's fine with me. Because you can't put the Creator inside a box.
Yeah.
We know that there's one Creator. We know that He made a covenant, the Creator of all made a covenant with our forefathers.
Yeah.
He gave us His name, or a name to call Him by, and everything else is just titles. El Shaddai, title. Yahuwah Rapha, title. Yahuwah Nissan, Nisi, one of them. Nisi, yes. Hallelujah. Her, title. Her, Nisi. All of those, just titles. Yahuwah is His name. Okay, let's go to 16 through 18, because I want to talk to the elders.
Go and gather the elders of Yasharel together, and say unto them, Yahuwah Elohim of your fathers, the Elohim of Abraham, of Yitzchak, and of Yaakov, appeared unto me, saying, I have surely visited you, and seen that which is done to you in Mitzrayim. And I've said, I will bring you up out of the affliction of Mitzrayim, unto the land of Canaan, and the Chittim, and the Emory, and the Perizim, and the Shivim, and the Yebus, into a land flowing with milk and honey. And they shall hearken to your voice. And you shall come, you and the elders of Yasharel, unto the king of Mitzrayim, and ye shall say unto him, Yahuwah Elohai of Israel,
Of the Hebrews.
Yahuwah Elohai of the Hebrews has met with us, and now let us go. We beseech you, 3 days' journey into the wilderness, that we may sacrifice to Yahuwah Elohim. And I am sure that the king.
Hold on, Aki. I told you I want to talk to the elders. So why did the Most High tell Moshe and Aaron? He anointed them on the mount. Said, "Look, this is what y'all gonna do." And well, he ain't anointed them yet. That's next chapter. But he said, so first thing that you do as soon as you go to the nation is you gotta go get the elders. Why? The elders not fighting. They already retired. They didn't have the babies. Why do we need elders? Why do we need y'all?
Wisdom.
Because we've already done it. You're gonna walk away from
God is wisdom. Good cook.
They remember the culture.
They remember.
They remember.
You gonna say it's good or bad?
They remember the culture. They have walked the culture. They represent the people.
Yes.
The elders represent the people. So whatever you want to know about the people, go talk to the elders.
What's that?
Y'all know
Alone?
that was different.
That's right.
Okay.
Here's a like.
I
Y'all.
don't know what that was. When you want to know the history of the people, you would talk to the elders. Well, you know what? Want to know what's going on? Well, used to. Want to know what's going on in the neighborhood? You would talk to the elders. Culturally, the elders are by the gates. They let everybody in. They let everybody out. What you doing here?
Yep.
Why you need to come in here?
Yep.
Same thing in the neighborhoods. The elders, or at least from what I remember, not,
We're first house on the block.
Yeah, exactly. They outside, they sitting on the porch, they got their tea, they smoking their Newport, and they watching everybody else. They watching everybody in the neighborhood.
Who you in here for?
They know your car, they know your children, they know their report cards, they giving children beatings. Everything. The elders are the most important part of a nation, are the elders. They take care of the people, which is why we are to take care of them. Torah says that when a graybeard walks into the room, what are we supposed to do?
Show respect.
We're supposed to get up.
Rise.
Actually, we're supposed to be standing for the elders. Why? Because they have walked, as Imam said, they've already walked the path that we're going to walk. They've already blazed the path.
Yes.
Now, there is a difference between an elder and a zaquay. A zaquay really, it means gray beard. It means it does mean elder, but it means an elder with an authority. Just because you're old doesn't mean that you have wisdom. That just means that the Most High has graced you to be here to where now you have gray hairs. But every elder is not somebody you want to take advice from. Every elder, you don't want to walk the path that they walk. They just happen to be old. So you respect them. But that doesn't mean that they're ones that the Most High can call in order to lead something. Because there's some 50-year-olds who are still trying to talk to these girls who just graduated high school. There's some 50-year-olds who still can't take care of their household, but who have children that they've never seen.
And what was that word? What was that name?
Zaquay.
Zaquay.
Or Zocaine, Zaquay. Whichever one you choose. Okay. But he said that you shall go get the elders, and you, Aaron, and the elders should go to the people. Should go to Pharaoh and free the people. So that means that without elders, we cannot progress. Y'all are the foundation. Y'all are very important. So it's not for y'all to, last week, it is for y'all to sit down and retire from doing active work, but that doesn't mean that your mouth is shut.
Right.
The problem with the community now is that the elders are quiet. When it used to be, the elders would set the people straight. We don't need cops. The elders is coming, and they about to set this straight. And they're going to bring some the young boys that they know who are straight, so that if they need muscle, the young men are behind them. But the elders are leading the way and be like, yo, y'all got to get out of here with that. That's what the elders are for. But you can't be an elder with authority if you don't know the rule book.
Right.
Right.
How can you judge if you don't know the judgment?
That's right.
So that falls on the elders. You can read from verse 19 and go through. Okay.
I'm sure that the king of Mitzrayim will not let me go. No, not by a mighty hand. And I will stretch out my hand and smite Mitzrayim with all my wonders, which I will do in the midst thereof. And after that, he will let you go. And I will give you people favor. I will give this people favor in the sight of Mitzrayim. And it shall come to pass that when ye go, ye shall not go empty. And every woman shall borrow of her neighbor, and of her that sojourns in her house jewels of silver, and jewels of gold, and ring. And ye shall put them upon your sons and your daughters, and ye shall spoil the Mitzrayim.
So he told him to end from the beginning. That no, you're not just going to walk in there and say, let my people go, and then he say, all right, y'all can leave.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen like that. But
Why did he ask for the woman to do that?
would you rather, and this is just, would you rather a man come and knock on your door and tell me, give you your stuff? Or would you rather a woman come, which women have a certain tact, they have certain ways about them that they can pretty much get you to do anything, like get kicked out the garden.
Stuff like that.
Little stuff like
Yeah,
Persuasive.
little stuff. So women are very persuasive.
Very.
So yeah, the women, and they're calmer. So when it comes like, you do call centers and stuff like that, right? You know about it. So when somebody calls you and it's a man versus a woman, you're gonna listen a little bit longer to a woman than a man. That's why they're so dangerous.
And they always in Kaufman.
They're very dangerous. Okay. Yes, so you put your jewels, you put everything onto your sons and your daughters, and you shall spoil the Mitzrayim. Okay, so it's in from the beginning. Same thing happening here. Trump, because we are in an election year, which is a possibility for a change of leadership. And the 400 year didn't stop in January. 400 years stops in April.
Yeah.
So,
Yep. New beginning.
yeah. Just know that we may be close. But anyway, even when that occurs, we still got to go through a process. There's a process. We're not just walking out of here. The Most High gonna have to put hands on some people
Dang.
via us.
Use some people.
Yeah, He gonna have to put hands on some people in order for us to get up out of here.
Yes.
So we're not leaving empty-handed.
Yeah. Right. And he had.
Look at him. He stay. Hey.
We're gonna need some Maccabees.
He ready.
Stay ready.
Most of them ready. All right, okay, we're gonna go to chapter 4. Read from 1 to 10. I mean 1 to 9. Actually, that give me a chance to type.
And Moshe answered and said, but behold, they will not believe me, nor hearken unto my voice, for they will say, Yahweh has not appeared unto you. And Yahweh said unto him, what is that to your hand? And he said, a rod. And he said, cast it on the ground. And he cast it on the ground, and it became a serpent. And Moshe fled from before it. And Yahweh said unto Moshe, put forth your hand, and take it by the tail. And he put forth his hand and caught it, and it became a rod in his hand, that they may believe that Yahweh Allah of their fathers, the Allah of Abraham, the Allah of Yitzchak, and the Allah of Yaakov has appeared unto you. And Yahweh said furthermore unto him, put now your hand into your bosom. And he put his hand into his bosom, and he took it out. Behold, his hand was leprous as snow. And he said, put your hand into your bosom again. And he put his hand into his bosom again, and plucked that out of his bosom. Behold, it was turned again as his older flesh. And it came to pass that they will not believe you, neither hearken to the voice of the first sign, that they will believe the voice of the latter sign. And it came, and a ship And it shall come to pass, if they will not believe also these two signs, neither hearken unto your voice, that ye shall take the water of the river and pour it upon the dry land. And the water which you take out of the river shall become blood upon the dry land.
Okay. So, first thing he says is, if they don't believe me, what should I do? So he has a rod. So the rod is mate, it means staff, branch, or tribe. So he has a tribe in his hand, and when he throws it down, it becomes a serpent. What's the word for serpent?
Word for serpent?
Yeah, I don't know why y'all like that on know. Yes, Nakash, the same serpent that was in the garden. Okay. So what this shows is, so if a snake just started, if a snake was in here right now, would y'all be as calm as y'all are right now?
No. Depends.
I can tell you right now, not me.
Any type of snake.
I'm not gonna say a garden snake for you. I'm talking about
A rubber snake, I'm out.
a cobra. If a cobra come out right now, are you good?
Right there.
Depends.
For what?
The reason why I say depend, because during that Sukkot, we saw a bunch of them, and we
But it
had,
still wasn't calm. We still weren't calm when we saw this.
I'm running.
Yeah.
I need a machete first.
So we did have snakes at Sukkot, so for everybody who's new, next time we go to Sukkot, y'all will stay in the cabin where the snakes are. We'll be in the other one.
We'll go get another one.
We'll check on y'all though. But no, seriously. Okay, so the reason why the serpent without the hand of the master is chaos. So he puts it down as chaos, he picks it back up, and it comes back in order. It's the same thing. It's just when it's in the hand of the one who holds it, it is in order. A tribe without the master is chaos. I put my hand in. Leprosy is not something. There's no cream for leprosy. There is nothing. The only one who heals leprosy is who? That's also the only one that gives leprosy. So, point when you look at Elisha and Naaman, he was a leper, and he had to go do what? He had to go wash himself.
Why do you suppose that they, that y'all smote them with leprosy?
Smoke who?
Whoever, the people.
Oh, what? When we get to that, we'll go more in depth. But to answer your question, leprosy is an outward expression of an inward defect.
Defect. Is that what you said?
So like, when he smote Miriam with leprosy, why did he smite Miriam with leprosy?
She was sowing discord.
She came against,
She was sowing discord, she was disobedient. She opened her mouth against something that shouldn't have been discussed.
Yep.
Who else did we strike with leprosy? Elisha. Same story with Naaman or Elijah. His right hand man, when Elisha was departing from Naaman, Naaman tried to give him gifts. He was like, I don't want no gifts. It's not for me. The Creator's the one who healed you. His right hand man ran after Naaman and was like, my master changed his mind. You give me the gifts. So when he took the gifts and he came back, Elisha was like, do you not know that my spirit went with you? So that now the same disease that the Most High cured him from, it'll be on you and your seed forever. So him and his whole line got leprosy based on something that was internal that he went after. So the greed and the say it again? Disobedience and the deception that was inside of him was outwardly expressed now. Now we know something's wrong with you. So, yes.
What does leprosy look like today?
Leprosy, it's kind of like mold.
On the skin?
Yes.
What are like those people that have like patches all over their skin?
No.
That's albino.
No.
That's vitiligo.
Albino, albinism.
No.
Vitiligo is like when it's when your skin is different colors, but
So they
then
say.
Yes.
Leprosy is what? What did you say?
I said, Michael Jackson had vitiligo.
Yeah, vitiligo.
Yes, that's why.
Is that what leprosy would look like today?
No.
I'm gonna have to Google it.
There's a chapter in Leviticus
It's like
talks
boils
about
on
the
your
healing of like being, if you find yourself with leprosy or things of that nature.
So there are two words for leprosy in Hebrew. One is sara'at and the other one is metzora. So one of them is like the beginning stages of it. So metzora can be on your clothes, it can be in your house, and it can be on your skin. That's the one that's curable. Now, what occurs, and we'll talk about, of course, later, that's in Leviticus. But what occurs is, once it's there, the priests, they come, they see it, they deem it metzora, they leave, a week later, they come and see if it's spread. They don't do anything about it. There's no oil or nothing like that, they just check it. And if they come back again and it's spreading, then they have to destroy it. So you take that and then you put it on a person. So it's like mold, right?
Right.
Yes.
How do you get mold?
Contagious? Is it contagious?
No, ma'am.
Oh.
Unless Maruah can be put on you.
Right.
So if I'm angry or if I'm bitter, or if I'm these things, it's going to be expressed eventually.
Yeah.
So how you would cure metzora is you would have to change something. Something would have to change. Because once they get to sara'at, which is the last part, it's over. There is no cure for it. Now you have to be ostracized. And the house will have to be destroyed. The clothes will have to be destroyed. A person will have to be spiritually destroyed by having to be sent outside the camp. So you'll be outside the camp. There'll be no provisions for you, none of that. You got to go that way. Because whatever's in you, we don't want it to affect us. So he put his hand in his bosom and he takes it out. That's showing that the Most High is the one who gives it and the Most High is the one who takes it away. So I'm dealing with the Creator, one, because I can turn the state derived, even though they did it in Ephraim. Well, anyway, we'll get to that part later. The aspect is the Most High changes it and the Most High can put it in order. He makes order out of chaos. That's what he did in the beginning. Back to creation. It was chaotic, he put it in order. Now I'm healing what only I can give. And out of the water, he brought forth life. The life is in the blood. Okay. Verse 10. Does that answer your question, Mark?
This is chapter 4.
Yeah, 10. Chapter 4, verse 10.
And Moshe said unto El Yahuwah, O my Adonai, I am not eloquent, neither there heretofore, nor since you have spoken unto your servant, for I am slow of speech. For I am slow of speech and of a slow tongue. And Yahuwah said unto me, Who has made man's mouth? Or who makes the dumb, the deaf, the seeing, the blind? Have not I Yahweh? Now therefore go, and I will be with your mouth, and teach you what you should say. And he said, O my Adonai, send, I pray you, by the hand of him whom you will send. And the anger of Yahweh was kindled against Moshe. And he said, Is not Aaron, a Levite, your brother? I know that he can speak well also. Behold, he comes forth to meet you, and when he sees you, he will be glad in his heart. And you shall speak unto him, and put the words in his mouth. And I will be with your mouth, and with his mouth. Wow. And will teach you what you shall do. And he shall be your spokesman unto the people. And he shall be to you instead of a mouth, and you shall be to him instead of Elohim. And you shall take this rod in your hand, wherewith ye shall do signs. And Moshe went and returned to Yithro.
Okay, hold on. So, the Most High is not letting Moshe out of his appointment. He's very upset, but he's like, okay, look, if you're not going to do it, look, your brother coming anyway. And he speaks very well. So they say that Moshe stuttered or anything like that. That's not what it means. It just means he's a man of very few words. He's slow to speak. I don't really talk like that. You want me to go and talk? Aaron was the vocal one. Aaron also was, he's a prophet. All three of them are prophets. They come from a line of prophets. Miriam, Aaron, Moshe, they're all prophets. So he's using Aaron. Now this is funny. He's saying he's on the way to meet you. Aaron at this point is not on the way to meet Moshe. The Most High tells him after this to go meet Moshe. Which lets you know that he also hears from him. So when Miriam did get Sarah, it wasn't as if she was saying something that was wrong. It was just out of line because of who she was talking to. Okay, he will be your prophet. You will be like Elohim. Whatever you say, he'll do, it will come to pass. Okay, verse 18.
Moshe went and returned to Gibon before the Lord and said unto him, let me go, I pray you, and return to my brothers, which are in Mishraim, and see whether they be yet alive. And Yitro said to Moshe, go in peace. And Yahuwah said unto Moshe and Michal, go, return unto Mishraim, for all the men are dead which sought your life. And Moshe took his woman and his sons and set them upon his ass. And he returned to the land of Mishraim. And Moshe took the rod of Elohim in his hand, and Yahuwah said unto Moshe.
Okay, hold on. So, sit down here. Why did Moshe have to go back to Yethro? The Most High is commanding him to go free the people. First thing he do is go back to Yethro and ask, can he go and see the welfare of his people?
You want to see if he was still alive?
You want to go see if Yethro was still alive?
Oh, back to Jethro.
I would say out of respect.
Yeah.
He lived in his house.
Yeah.
Right.
That was his,
You can't just disappear. He probably had a role to play in the
Like
house.
an elder. He was like an elder.
his elder to know his teacher.
He was the priest.
Yeah, elder priest.
That he lived in his house. He probably had a role to play. Like he maybe had, specific set of things he had to do in the house. Now he has to leave.
Yeah, he definitely had a role to play. What was his... Moshe was a servant.
I missed it.
Moshe was a servant in the house of Yethro. The servant can't just get up and walk out.
Yeah, he gotta do it 7
Get
years.
permission to go.
Yes, ma'am. So he went to go ask, and that's why he didn't go say, oh, look, the Most High just told me I got to go and free my people. I'm out of here. No, he's like, can I go check with my brothers in there and kind of see if they've been alive and stuff?
Yeah.
Because one, Jethro could have said no, and the Most High would have had to deal with Jethro. But at the end of the day, that's what occurred. Funny backstory about Jethro, right? I know we're still down. So, before we got into bondage, so go back to chapter 1. Before we got into bondage, this is in Yashar, once again, cite my sources. Before we got into Yashar, 2 people spoke to Pharaoh and told him what to do about us. It was Jethro, and it was a man by the name of Job. Okay, same person, read about the book. Jethro said, leave these people alone. They are the children of the Most High. You can't stop them no matter what you do. Pharaoh got mad at him, threw him out. That's why he went back to Midian. Job said what I told you earlier about, well, look, you're going to have to put him in bondage, so on and so forth. So Job eventually would have had to got dealt with for him to turn out righteous. Once again, that's in Yashar. I'm just giving you a backstory. So Jethro knew who we were. That's why he was able to go there. Okay. Now go back to here. Yes, he's a servant in his house. He has to ask for permission. Okay. Verse 21, and you did finish out the chapter. Well, no, go to 21 through 28.
And Yahuwah said to Moshe, when you go to return to Mitzrayim, see that you do all those wonders before Pharaoh, which I have put through your hand. But I will harden his heart, that he shall not let the people go. And you shall say unto Pharaoh, thus says Yahuwah, Yashar'el is my son, even my firstborn. And I say unto you, let my son go, that he may serve me. And if you refuse to let him go, behold, I will slay your son, even your firstborn. And it came to pass by the way of the end, that Yahuwah met him and sought to kill him. Then Zipporah took a short stone and cut off the foreskin of his son and cast it at his feet and said, surely a bloody man owe you to me. So let him go. Then she said, a bloody man you are because of the circumcision.
Okay, so the Most High just sent him to do a job. Now the Most High wants to kill him. Why? And how does Zipporah know that that's what would keep Moshe from getting killed?
Because he's not the custody.
Custom of who? So how was Zipporah know that?
He must have known.
The wife, like you said before, she magnifies what he did.
But he didn't say. He didn't circumcise version. So why would I tell you something that I'm not going to do for my first son? Go ahead. And then, yeah,
They were descendants of Abraham.
Who?
The Midianites. They were descendants of Abraham, so it was Abraham. Circumcision was for all of Abraham's born. So the Midianites knew that they had to be circumcised for the covenant of Abraham.
Okay, which is like you said, how she would know. You right? She would be told, but just by who? So he forgets. She does it. He says, "You are a bloody man, or a man. You are a bloody man to me, and you are a bloody man because of the circumcision."
Wait, was he circumcised because he was under the Egyptians?
Moshe?
Yeah.
But he was born.
Moshe spent the first 3 months.
Oh yeah. It's after 8 days.
Yes.
Turn the heat down.
Is he on?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah, not good yet.
Thank you.
There's babies in here, so I didn't want to just open the door.
No, you did good. The heat coming out right now.
27. Can you go ahead and read 27 down?
And Yahuwah said to El Arad, go into the wilderness to meet Moshe. And he went and met him in the mount of Elohim and kissed him.
Go ahead, keep going.
And Moshe told Aaron all the words of Yahuwah who had sent him, and all the signs which he had commanded him. And Moshe and Aaron went and gathered together all the elders of the children of Israel. And Aaron spoke all the words which Yahuwah had spoken unto Moshe. And did the signs in the sight of the people. And the people believed. And when they heard that Yahuwah had visited the children of Israel, and that he had looked upon their affliction, then they bowed both their heads in worship.
Okay. So they bow their heads in worship. They go back. They do all the things that they're supposed to do. All right, read. This is the last chapter. Y'all doing good. Can you read verses 1 through 3? Yes, sir. Chapter 5, verses 1 through 3.
And afterward, Moshe and Aaron went in into Pharaoh. Thus says Yahuwah Elohai of Yahshua, let my people go, that they may hold a feast unto me in the wilderness. And Pharaoh said, who is Yahuwah, that I should obey his voice and let Yahshua go? I know not Yahuwah, neither will I let Yahshua go. And they said, the Elohai of the Abraham has met with us. Let us go, we pray you, 3 days into journey to the desert, and sacrifice unto Yahweh Elohim, lest he fall upon us with pestilence or with the sword.
Hold on. Okay. Okay. Hold on, Keith. Quick question. Well, 2 questions. One, which feast did we celebrate? And 2, verse 1 says Elohim of Yisrael. Verse 3 says Elohim of the Hebrews. Whose Elohim is it?
Because Abraham wasn't an Israelite. He was a Hebrew. Ishak wasn't an Israelite. He was a Hebrew. Only Yaakov, whose name turned into Israel, was an Israelite, and his sons from their form.
Here we go.
Okay. So when the Arab brothers say Allah, they
arm, leg, arm, head.
Yep.
I'm not talking about the prophets. I'm talking about
God
the
body.
organic Islam, organic Islam, when they say Allah, and they're talking about we're the people of the book, and they do everything that Torah, because the Quran, for those who don't know, says that you should follow the Torah.
Before you read the Quran, okay.
So, when they're speaking like this, who are we to say that they're not talking about the same ill that we say?
Because they're Hebrews.
Okay. They just know that we're the covenant people, but y'all, y'all cool too. Some of them. Okay, so we know he's the Elohim of Israel by covenant through the lineage of Israel. But he's the Elohim of the Hebrews, who was covenant with the forefather of all Hebrews, Abraham. Okay. And which feast did we celebrate?
The one before Passover.
What feast is before Passover?
Keep going. Other way.
Other way?
Other way.
After Passover?
Yes. After Passover. Okay. Question. At the Mount, we received the Ten Commandments.
Shavuot?
Gang.
Shavuot.
That's the feast that we would have celebrated. It would have been Shavuot or the feast, the festival of weeks. All right, Kay, you can keep on going, Aki.
And the king of Israel said unto them, wherefore do ye will shake every let the people from their works. Get you unto your burdens. And Pharaoh said, behold, the people of the land now are many, and ye make them rest from the burdens. And Pharaoh commanded the same day the taskmasters of the people and their officers, saying, ye shall no more give the people straw to make brick as heretofore. Let them go and gather straw for themselves, and tell of the bricks which they did make heretofore. Ye shall lay upon them, ye shall not diminish aught thereof. For they be idle. Therefore they cry, saying, let us go and sacrifice to Elohim. Let there more work be laid upon the men, that they may labor, what you were saying earlier, therein, and let them not regard vain works.
Okay, sleep out. Okay, so y'all are lazy, right? Y'all talking about this Shabbat stuff. Why y'all keep talking about this Shabbat stuff? So now y'all got other people wanting to rest on Saturday. This is what we're gonna do. Raise the prices on food, raise the prices on gas, raise the prices on rent, so that they're gonna have to go work on Saturday, because that's when you get overtime. So they won't pay attention to this Shabbat stuff.
Yeah.
They won't pay attention to this worship the Elohim stuff, because they gotta work. So they're gonna work, and their mind is gonna be far away from Elohim, because we're gonna make it difficult where they're gonna be working from sunup to sundown in order for them to provide.
Amen.
Okay. Keep going. Verse 2.
And the taskmasters of the people went out in the offices, and they spoke to the people, saying, thus says Pharaoh, I will not give you straw. Go ye get you straw where you can find it. Yet not all of your work shall be diminished. So the people were scattered abroad there throughout all the land of Mitzrayim to gather stubble instead of straw, And the taskmasters hasted him, saying, fulfill your works, your daily tasks. It's when there was straw. And the officers of the children of Yasharel, which Pharaoh's taskmasters had set the war over them, were beaten and demanded, wherefore have ye not fulfilled your task in making brick both yesterday and today, as heretofore? Then the officers of the children of Yasharel came and cried unto Pharaoh, saying, wherefore deal ye thus with your servants? There's no straw given unto your servants, and they say to you, make brick, and behold, your servants are beaten. But the fault is in your own people. But he said, you are idle. Therefore, ye say, let us go and do sacrifice to Yahweh. Go therefore now and work, for there shall no straw be given you, yet shall ye deliver the tale of bricks. And the officers of the children of Yasharel did see that they were in evil case, after it was said, ye shall not diminish aught from your bricks of your daily task. And they met Moshe and Aaron, who stood in the way as they came forth from Pharaoh. And they said unto them, Yahuwah, look upon you and judge, because ye have made our Savior to be abhorred in the eyes of Pharaoh, and in the eyes of his servants to put a sword in the hand slayers. And Moshe returned to El Yahuwah and said, Adonai, wherefore have you so evil to this people? Why is it that you have sent me? For since I came to Pharaoh to speak in your name, he has done evil to this people. Neither have you delivered your people at all.
Okay, hold on. Okay. So, there's one verse in chapter 6, but questions about this one. So, the officers find out that it's Moshe and them. The word nazah for standing, standing away means not zab. It means to take an upright position, to be stationed, to stand firm. So they were firm in the way and opposition from where the people were going. And the people come and they say, well, may the Most High judge you, because you have made our savor or our fragrance to be a stench among the people.
Yeah.
So, and then Moshe asks, he takes on the ruach of the people and be like, well, Moshe, what you sent me here for? Because ever since I came to these people, nothing has happened. All we did was get beat worse. I got these people in trouble, so on and so forth. Why did you send me here? Which makes you go off the path of where the Creator is sending you. Because you're dealing or you're looking at the faces of the people.
Yeah.
You're worried about the emotions of the people.
Yeah.
You're worried about the conditions of the people getting worse.
Yeah.
When you know you were sent on a mission to free them from those conditions. So if you focus on what the people are saying, that's going to make you turn away from what the Creator is saying. Because people are going to do what is more convenient for them. They understand, I saw the signs, your hand was white, then it was black, and you put the water on the floor, it turned to blood, you made the cobra come. I saw all of that, but right now I'm getting beat. I don't want this no more. You need to leave. I see what you're saying. Yes, we are supposed to do this. It do say forever. Yes, I see you look nice. You know where we came from. We came from over there. Cool, you got order in your house. Your children are beautiful. But if I don't work on Saturday, I'm not going to get paid what I need to get paid. Or if I stop eating this bacon, I'm going to be upset. Breakfast will never be the same. I don't understand. It'll just never be right if I stop eating this bacon. Or if I stop trying to sleep with this man's wife, she give me money every time now.
Right.
Yeah. See it.
Say it.
I drive his car. I drive his car when he out of town for work. Look, you messing up my paper.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't want to beat my kids. Look, I know what the scriptures say, but if I beat my children, they gonna call the people on me. And I got drugs. Look, listen, you messing up. Messing up what I'm trying to do.
Flip the phone line first.
Doing too much.
Cut the phone cord first.
Yeah, you gotta cut. That's not what I'm trying to do here. You gotta go. Which is gonna make you say, well, look, I told him about your feast days. Everything is, everything's getting worse for them though. They got fired because they talking about they don't want to work. So now they got fired. They got a homeschool because the school keep calling the people on them. Look, what do you want me to do? I can't keep telling these people to do this if every time I tell them to do something mess up. I can't tell her to stop stripping. She don't got an education. That's the only way she make money. How am I going to tell her to stop stripping? What?
I'm the same.
I don't know what you want me to do. That's how I know.
That's real.
I can't tell him to stop selling drugs.
You can't judge me.
I don't.
Say
And I can't judge him.
Say it.
I can't judge him, and he gonna still sell drugs because that's how he pays his bills. I don't own the business to give him a job.
Man, I'm
What
working
do you
on.
want me to do?
Yeah, they gonna throw scripture on me.
So this is what's going on. However, that makes you compromise what the Creator is telling you to do.
That's right.
So then, if everybody goes off the emotions of the people, then nothing gets done. Somebody will have to be the bad guy. Like Scarface said, say hello to the bad guy you need somebody to point your finger at. I'll be him as long as that changes the next generation. I don't have to get you.
Yeah.
If I get your son, if he looks at me like a hero, I don't care what you say.
Yeah.
Because I have the next generation to worry about.
Yeah.
But if I focus on you, they suffer, everybody gone.
Yeah.
So you see here an example of Moshe being a man, looking at his environment. So once again, the Most High is funny because he asked a specific question. Now to end the Torah portion, 6:1, and what does the Most High respond?
And Yahuwah said to Moshe, now shall you see what I will do to Pharaoh, for with a strong hand shall he let them go, and with a strong hand shall he drive them out of his land. And Elohim spoken to
Oh,
Moshe.
hold on, I can't, that's 6:1, I can't tell that. But I know you want to just keep reading. You can do it at home. He said, he has a very specific question. I was like, you sent me here, and all the people just keep getting worse, so on and so forth. And most I said, yo, forget all that. Now you about to see what I'm about to do to these people. You about to look, and he gonna kick you out. He's gonna put you out.
Yeah.
Because of what I'm about to do. So I don't care about what the people feeling right now. Because why? At the end of the day, I'm gonna bring them out of here. They're gonna leave with money, and they're not gonna be in bondage anymore.
Thank you.
So nothing is new under the sun. Basically, what you're saying is that the people right now, they don't care what you're saying.
No, they don't
Yeah,
care
not
about you
one
talking
bit.
about
Not one bit.
400 years. What does 400 years do for me?
Give me $400.
Thank you.
Oh my
$400. Then you take about 20
$400. You
years.
care about that? You talking about some kosher meal. I need something fast. McDonald's, they serve billions. There's a reason for that. You care about your scriptures? This paper don't pay my bills.
Right.
Forget your scriptures. I need that scrum.
Exactly. I need what you're talking about is nice for Sunday. I got Monday through Saturday. Something totally different. So you're looking at the day, the Most High, once again, those who are spiritually minded and those who are carnally minded. They don't blend. There's always going to be a clash of mindsets. We're thinking about the kingdom. You're thinking about today.
That double-minded statement, too straight.
Yes.
It's too straight. You got people, the officers, they cool because they don't get beat as much, but now they start to get beat because the people that they're over aren't doing what they need to do. Start cutting ties out of the churches and see what the pastor said. Start taking off. Start having people leave and see what the pastor do. Now they're gonna start complaining. Because right now they're getting paid to tell you some nonsense.
That's right.
I get paid to tell you that it don't matter. It's the blood. It's the blood.
The blood taking everything.
Remember the water turned to blood? It's the blood. That's all you gotta worry about. It's the blood. Say your prayers over the pork. Be good.
As long as you pray over it, it's clean.
Say thank you for the Christmas presents. Be good. Don't forget to put the money in the plate.
And pick up them Easter eggs.
Easter eggs. You can eat them afterwards. We're gonna color them first. You can eat them after we color them. Anyway, all I'm saying is that the Most High, there's nothing new under the sun. The same people and mindsets we're dealing with outside, and even in here, because these are people who knew the signs.
Okay.
Yes.
It's not just people with the worldly mind. This is Israel too.
Israel too.
That's what I was talking about.
Yeah, some people still don't want to leave. Some people's mindset is still, look, I gotta hold on to the world just in case this don't work out.
Plus, I know I know what to expect here. I don't know what to expect where we go.
Exactly. I don't know what you're talking about. You want me to go in the woods and camp out for 7 days? I got children.
Fear of faith.
So when we be like, when it's time for us to leave, I'm gonna leave. But when it really happens, it's like, I never been there. I don't know what's gonna happen.
Plus, I gotta leave all my stuff behind.
Right.
I just got this TV.
One person told me, I don't know what I'm gonna do when I'm a Jaguar.
Live. That's what they're gonna do. Live.
And they choose not to live.
Or choose not to live. Fear of faith.
Even though they made it out, don't mean they made it to the land though.
Yes.
Which is exactly what the Most High said that he will do. He's going to take out a deaf and dumb people.
Oh wow. Okay.
So he's going to take out people who don't really know what you're talking about, but look, this place is getting blown up. I'm just gonna go with you.
Yeah.
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 I don't know what they doing over there. Y'all got food over there? It's a famine over here. I'm just gonna go do what y'all need to do. What you say? Hallelujah, is it? Hallelujah. You say y'all? Hallelujah. What's some things right there? Let me get that. Can I get a plate? You want a plate? Most I said, you're gonna make it into the wilderness, you won't make it into the land. So yeah, this is a nice string. They got blue. I like that blue, baby blue. But just because you make it into the wilderness doesn't mean you make it to the kingdom. You just prolong your destruction. That's all you do. Because you didn't change your mind, you just changed your location.
Yes. Go ahead and say that.
You can take the hood, the N-word out the hood, but you can't take the hood
Out the N-word.
But look how gracious the Creator is. He doesn't allow you to destroy yourself, and he gives you a second chance.
We're gonna do it in a second chance. So you see Babylon getting destroyed, you made it on the boat barely, and you still won't change your mind.
That shows that stiff neck we are.
So now there is no mercy for you.
Yeah.
Just like when you read in Hebrews, it say, if you willfully sin after giving your life over, to Yahushua, there is no sacrifice for your sin anymore. Same thing. Once you make it into the wilderness and you still want to act foolish, and yes, I say, those who eat pork behind the tree, those who eat pork behind the tree, that they'll be destroyed with the one, with the other people. It's the same thing. You made it into the wilderness just to get destroyed there. You can't run. Because the problem is inside of you. Where you going?
I can't build a bunker under the...
No, you can't build a bunker. He said that they gonna go in cliffs, and they gonna ask the rocks to fall upon them when it's time for that.
How many people see Messiah? I'm just.
It's the same.
I just have to say it because there's a scene. Spoiler alert. There's a scene where they're guiding a group of refugees through the desert. And they got so they're guiding the refugees through the war, through the desert, right? And then they get stopped at a border. Now, on the opposite of that border is people who do not like them. It's Israel, but they don't want them there. These people are there with no water, with no clothes, with nothing really. And it's either your fear that you're going to die here, or your faith that you're going to be rescued. Some people left. They didn't have the patience to wait. Because sometimes you got to think about it. You're going to be tested when you're in that wilderness. That's why the scripture said we have to fast, meditate, and pray, because it's a way for us to prepare for when we're in that wilderness. Because how long can you go without water? How long can you go without food? Because I know, off of experience, let me go out without water and food for 5 days straight. I start getting delirious. I start seeing things and thinking things, and then things start happening to me. I'm like, okay, maybe if I just do this, I'll be straight. It doesn't work that way. It's a test. And when we get into that wilderness, we're going to be tested not just as a people, but as individuals. And that's when a lot of people are going to start falling off.
So you're going to pass under the rod. The same, the rod of correction, you're going to pass under the rod. And if you don't make it, then you're just going to be, buried in the sand. That's
or below the sand.
You're going to be smart.
You know what, in that movie, unless you've seen the whole thing, you don't know if he's the devil or the Messiah.
Which you don't. But it's very interesting how he led them to the border, but he couldn't get them across the border.
That's right.
When the true Messiah is going to get us into the land.
Everything gonna open up, so you can go in.
No, and we're not talking about anything. There is no council when it's time.
No.
he did that. The Most High sent somebody to do that about 2,000 years ago. That was counsel. Now it's a book.
Now it's a.
So anyway, that was 12 portion. I got off my soapbox.
Oh yeah.
Hallelujah. Now we can heat up the rice and we can eat.
Hallelujah.
Give me some of them little Zeke things.
Let me get some strings for you, man. Let's get that plate. Hallelujah.
Okay.